Jane, Arna and Grant Beaumont, collectively referred to as the Beaumont Children, were three Australian siblings who disappeared from Glenold Beach near Adelaide, South Australia, on the 26th of January 1966 in a suspected abduction and murder. Police investigations revealed that, on the day of their disappearance, several witnesses had seen the three children on and near Glenold Beach in the company of a tall man with firish to light brown hair and a thin face, with a suntan complexion and medium build, aged in his mid-30s. Confirmed sightings of the children occurred at the Collie Reserve and at Wenzel's Cake Shop on Moseley Street, Glenold. Despite numerous searches, neither the children nor their suspected companion were located. The case received worldwide attention and is credited with causing a change in Australian lifestyles, since parents began to believe that their children could no longer be presumed to be safe when unsupervised in public. In recent years, police and media speculation has linked the disappearances to the Adelaide Oval abductions of 1973. Interest in the case has continued more than half a century on. As of 2018, a $1 million reward has been offered for information related to the cold case by the South Australian government. Jane, Arna and Grant Beaumont lived with their parents, Grant Jim Beaumont, a former serviceman and taxi driver, and Nancy Beaumont. The couple had married in December 1955. The family resided at 109 Harding Street, Somerton Park, South Australia, a suburb of Adelaide. They lived not far from Glenold Beach, a popular spot that the children often visited. On the 25th of January 1966, in the midst of a summer heat wave, Jim dropped the children off at Glenold Beach before heading off on a 3-day sales trip to Snowtown. On the morning of the 26th of January, Australia Day, the Beaumont children asked their mother to visit Glenold Beach again. As it was too hot to walk, they took a 5-minute bus journey from their home to the beach. The children caught the bus at 8:45 a.m. and were expected to return home on the 12 o'clock noon bus. Nancy became worried, however, when the siblings did not return on either the 12 o'clock or the p.m. buses, and when Jim returned home early from his trip around 3 p.m., he immediately drove to the crowded beach, unable to locate the children. He returned and together both parents searched the streets and visited friends' houses. Around 5:30 p.m., they went to Glenold Police Station to report the disappearance. Police quickly organized a search of Glenold Beach and adjacent areas, based on the assumption that the Beaumont children were nearby and had simply lost track of time. The search then expanded to the sandhills, ocean and nearby buildings, with the airport, rail lines, and interstate roads being monitored as well, based on a fear of accident or kidnap. Within 24 hours, the entire nation was aware of the case. Within 3 days, on the 29th of January, the Adelaide Sunday Mail led with a headline of "Sex Crime Now Feared," highlighting the rapidly evolving fear that the children had been abducted and murdered by a ex-offender. Despite this, the initial official reward was only £250. The Potawalonga boat haven was drained on the 29th of January after a woman told police that she had spoken with 3 children, who were similar in description to the Beaumont children, near the haven at 7 p.m. on the day of the disappearance. Police cadets and members of the Emergency Operations Group searched the area, but nothing was found. Police investigating the case found several witnesses who had seen the Beaumont children in Collie Reserve, near Glenold Beach, in the company of a tall man with fair to light brown hair and a thin face, and in his mid-30s. The man had a suntan complexion and a thin to athletic build, and was wearing swim trunks. The children were playing with him, and appeared to be relaxed and enjoying themselves. The man also approached one of the witnesses, asking if anyone had been near the children's belongings as their money was missing. The man then went off to change while the children waited for him. The group were then seen walking away together from the beach sometime later, which the police estimated to be around 12:15 p.m. About 2.5 hours later, another witness, Miss Daphne Gregory, sighted the children with the man, who she observed carrying an airline bag similar to one owned by Jane. The Beaumont parents described their children, particularly the eldest Jane, as shy. For them to be playing so confidently with a stranger seemed out of character. Investigators theorized that the children had perhaps met the man during a previous visit or visits and had grown to trust him. A chance remark at home, which seemed insignificant at the time, supports this theory. Arna had told her mother that Jane had got a boyfriend down the beach. Nancy thought she meant a playmate and took no further notice until after the disappearance. A shopkeeper at nearby Wenzel's Bakery, on Moseley Street, reported that Jane had bought pasties and a meat pie with a £1 note. Police viewed this as further evidence that the Beaumont children had been with another person, for 2 reasons. The shopkeeper knew the children well from previous visits and reported that they had for purchase a meat pie before, and the children's mother had given them only 6 shillings and 6 pence, enough for their bus fare and lunch, and not £1. Police believed the money had been given to them by somebody else. According to an initial statement, the Beaumont children were seen walking alone at 5:55 p.m., away from the beach along Jetty Road, in the general direction of their home. The witness, a postman, knew the children well, and his statement was regarded as reliable. He said the children were holding hands and laughing in the main street. Police could not determine why the reliable children, already 1 hour late, were strolling alone and seemingly unconcerned. The postman contacted police 2 days after his initial statement and said that he thought he saw them in the morning, not the afternoon as he had previously said. Several months later, a woman reported that on the night of the disappearance, a man, accompanied by 2 girls and a boy, entered a neighboring house that she had believed empty. Later, the woman said she had seen the boy walking alone along a lane where he was pursued and roughly caught by the man. The next morning the house appeared to be deserted again, and she saw neither the man nor the children again. Police could not establish why she had failed to provide this information earlier. Other reported sightings of the children continued for about a year. After their disappearance, the Beaumont case attracted international attention. On the 8th of November 1966, Gerard Croizet, a Dutch psychic, was brought to Australia to assist in the search, which caused a furor in the press. Unsurprisingly, Croizet's efforts proved unsuccessful, with his story changing day to day and offering no clues. He identified a spot at a warehouse near the children's home in which he believed their bodies had been buried, inside the remains of an old brick kiln. The property owners, who were reluctant to excavate based only on a psychic's claim, soon bowed to public pressure after publicity helped raise $40,000 to have the building demolished. No remains, nor any evidence tied to any members of the Beaumont family, was found. In 1996, the building identified by Croizet was undergoing partial demolition and the owners allowed for a full search of the site. Once again, no trace was found of the children. About 2 years after the disappearance, the Beaumont parents received letters. One was supposedly written by Jane, and another by a man who said he was keeping the children. The envelopes showed a postmark of Dandenong, Victoria. The brief notes described a relatively pleasant existence and referred to the man who was keeping them. Police believed at the time that the letters could quite likely have been authentic after comparing them with others written by Jane. The letter from the man said that he had appointed himself guardian of the children and was willing to hand them back to their parents. In the letter, a meeting place was nominated. The Beaumont parents, followed by a detective, drove to the designated place, but nobody appeared. In 1992, new forensic examinations of the letters showed they were a hoax. Fingerprint technology had improved and the author was identified as a 41-year-old man who had been a teenager at the time, had written the letters as a joke because of the time that had elapsed. He was not charged with any offense. In November 2013, excavation was initiated in the back of a North Plimpton factory that had previously belonged to Harry Phipps, a possible suspect in the Beaumont case. Further excavation at a slightly different location on the site was undertaken in February 2018, but nothing relevant was found. The excavations were based on the men who had reported that, as boys, they had been paid by Phipps to dig a hole in that area at around the time of the disappearance, and also based on geophysical testing which had identified anomalous disturbed soil. The 2018 search yielded animal bones, but no evidence in relation to the Beaumont children.